Okay. So, all you're going to do for now...
I think Lindsay's here to do it too.
Okay, all you're going to do for now... Yeah, not right now. So, we only have one camera. All you got... Wide, tight. And all you're doing is keeping him in frame for now.
When it's the game, do you need me to zoom out and just have the entire thing?
Just film the entire pack, follow behind the entire pack. All you're doing is holding this thing. W is wide, T is tight. So in and out, that's all you're doing. Don't move the camera too fast. Because of the way...
Is everybody keeping up so far?
Woo! So try and move the camera slowly. The faster you move it, the harder it makes it on the live stream, and the more it might get bitsy for people watching. So what you're just trying to do is keep it wide and slowly follow the pack around. If you have to go back, go back.
I am following the pack then.
You are following the pack.
Okay.
I'm going to try and get you headphones so you can hear what the announcers downstairs are saying, because my headphones aren't working right now. So I'll get you those.
If I need, like, if somebody's kind of like giving feedback to how I should do this, who will come and tell me?
Grease downstairs.
Okay.
He's kind of in charge of all this.
Okay. And it's recording, right?
It's not recorded. Well, it's going straight to the live stream. So you don't worry about any of the recording things here. It's going straight to the live stream.
Okay, so I don't worry about pressing the record button or anything?
No, all you're doing is just keeping what's in this image here is what's going on screen, basically. So if you want to grab it right now, just gently, try not to move too much, but just keep it on this guy, and then when he's done with the teams and stuff, just basically when it starts, keep wide at the start of every game, you just have the whole pack, follow him around. Okay, Grease and I will be watching from down here for the first bit.
Oh, you'll be there. Okay, so if I have any questions, I'll get Grease. Okay.
Still travel with each other in that way as well, sharing the good times on the water as well as on the land. So this is new song from NAQ, MRDA Youth Association.
Should now be able to
But I'll hear the live team.
you'll see these ones live, so that's too much bigger.
Again, you know, in the big spirit of each and every one of you. Just a little heads up while you're in the territory. You may have seen my friend Tim here after I finished this off. Raise your hands in this fashion. This is our way of saying thank you. And notice though, you must remember a lot of people from around the world speak with their hands all the time, no matter where we come from. So when you say thank you to a Coast Salish person, make sure your palms are facing toward. Otherwise, if you do this, I caught a fish that big. Everybody enjoy yourself, have a good weekend, and enjoy it.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to day one of the MRDA Association North American Qualifier. My name is Pete Fatness, and I am here with...
I'm Steve Up.
Steve Up, and I will be very happy to bring you this first half. Probably made 2 spots. Steve up for grabs as we get started here this weekend.
Yeah, Race City Rebels coming into this tournament at number 22. They're the 4th seed for the Salish Sea Slam. Austin Anarchy coming in at number 23, so both teams ranked very closely here in the rankings. The 5th seed for Austin Anarchy. Now, you're very familiar with Austin Anarchy. This is from your neck of the woods. And then Race City Rebels are from Indianapolis, Indiana, correct?
Correct, and we're looking forward to seeing these 2 teams compete here in just a moment.
All right, so we've got a bit of a technology issue over here at the scoreboard. Just taking care of that real quick, and we'll get back to the action real quick.
Which I'm totally cool with because that gives us an opportunity to run through rosters here quickly for these 2 teams. Starting with Austin Anarchy out of Austin, Texas. From 1587, Gordon Freeman. 22 is Anthrax. 221 is Bruce Payne III. 23 is Sonic Boom. 3 is Wombo Combo. 303 El Nino. 35 is Sharknado. 42 is Pinto. 49 Revelation. Number 5 is Todd Omatic. 51 is Naked Alien. 5150 Speedy Gorilla. 6010 Kojo Reisman. 77 is Snot P. Hilgram. 818 is Vicious. And 88 is Danny B. Austin Anarchy.
Awesome. Now we'll move into the Race City Rebels. 02 is Wicked Bombshell. Number 13 is Chuck Norris. 14 Johnson. 17 Shaggy. 24 Pumpkin Bruiser. 317 is Kid. 34 Grimace. 42 Lord Boom Brew. 52 is Tarball. 64 is Ugly. Number 7 is Squad Almighty. 70 Doc Flatliner. 72 Les Brawl. 73 is Lynn. 79 is Skateman Stiff. And finally on the list 84 Zecker. The Race City Rebels from Indianapolis, Indiana.
All right, well, I see a scoreboard, I see 2 teams, I see officials, and I see some early risers in the stands. Thanks for being here with us.
I wonder how many folks here are from this time zone, or if they're like us, from at least one time zone over.
All right, welcome to day one of the Salish Sea Slam, the MRDA North American Qualifiers. I am Julia Sleazer.
I am Wilhelm Scream.
And right now we are going to see Austin Anarchy facing off against Race City Rebels. We're going to hit the rosters really quickly.
I'm going to roll for the Race City roster. From Indianapolis, we got 02, Wicked Bombshell. Number 13 is Up Chuck Norris. Number 14 is Johnson. 17, Shaggy. 24, Punky Bruiser. Number 317 is Kid. 34 is Grimace. Number 42 is Lord Doombrew. 52, Car Bomb. Number 64, Ugly. Number 7 is Quad Almighty. 70 is Doc Flatliner. Number 72 is Les Brawl. Number 73 is Lynn. 79 is Skateman Spiff. And number 84 is Zeckner.
We are already on our way, so I will get to the Austin Anarchy rosters momentarily. Looks like Anarchy already has a lead.
That's Sharknado jamming for the Anarchy.
Race City's jammer is out of the pack. That is number 17, Shaggy. And it's going to be a hit it and quit it jam. Already called it off. is 4 points to Austin Anarchy starting off this first jam.
And for those that are watching at home, Race City is in the black with white accents. Austin in the white with black and red accents.
I like to keep him guessing. Spoiler. We've got that 5-second call. So El Nino out for Austin Anarchy.
By both teams, as this jam gets underway.
And it is Doc Flatliner for Race City. Both of them having a lot of trouble getting past this first part. Just passing turn 1 now, and it's going to be Race City Doc Flatliner with lead jammer status.
And we're seeing our first power jam being handed to Race City because El Nino into the penalty box on a track cut penalty.
Speederella has taken out Race City's jammer. Doc Flatliner is going to call it off from the inside, guaranteeing at least 10 plus seconds of a power start for Race City off this next jam. Right now we are 4-4 going into jam 3.
And jam 3 is going to start out in a power start for Race City. They're sending out number 17. That is Shaggy wearing the star for the team from Indianapolis.
Once again, jamming for Race City Rebels is Shaggy.
All right, coming off his team standing off to the side. There is an Anarchy wall up front. His team speeds up to try to help him. Not quite capable of breaking him through. He breaks through of his own recognizance. Lead jammer status once again to Race City. El Nino is standing in the box and will be rejoining play momentarily.
Shaggy coming around, re-engaging the pack already on that scoring pass. El Nino has returned to the track. He's forced to come back in about a quarter length behind the rest of the team. Good back bridging by Race City, giving their wall a little chance to get set up to deal with El Nino. Shaggy on the far straightaway. Gets through. That's a 5-point scoring pass. Grand slam picked up by Race City.
El Nino through, having completed his initial. He's going to come in for his first scoring pass if he makes it back, but he does not. It's going to get called off by Shaggy. 3 more points for Race City, bringing him up, or sorry, 4. Well, I don't remember now.
5-point pass and then a 4-point pass.
Oh, there you go.
9-point
I'm
total.
like, there's 5, 4. Yep, I'm going to say 4. So it's, you know what? Here it is. It's 13 points. In the end, they're up to 13.
13-4 right now. Race City with the lead. 26.5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, they're starting off great. You know, I'm already proud of myself. Yeah, the first. I'm on it. You know what? Austin Anarchy doing a great job of separating Race City's blockers from each other.
Westball thought he had an opening on the inside, did just get forced in. Big hit, counter blocking.
Right.
Being taken up with Kojo Ryzen, but Westball completing that initial pass.
So, Sonic Boom is out for Anarchy, and he's got through his initial. There's a forearms call on Les. He's going to be headed to the box. So having out of the box as lead jammer, clearly we're going to have the whole 2-minute jam. We've got a 1:08 left of it. Sonic Boom trying to get up against this one Race City blocker holding him back. He's going to cut on through, but not penalty-wise. 5 points right there for Anarchy.
Westball now standing. He's got less than 10 seconds to go. As we're also seeing him being joined in the penalty box by Kid in 3-7. And Sonic Boom getting around again, another 5-point scoring pass.
So I've just been alerted that the internet's scoreboard is not on. So just so you guys know, I've been doing a great job of reporting the score back. It is 13-14 in favor of Anarchy right now, 25-44 on the period, 22 seconds on this jam.
Yeah, Sonic Boom's picked up 10 so far to really help put Anarchy back on top. Taking advantage of that penalty by Les Brawl.
Definitely. Beaterella now having a seat in the box.
Got a little tangle up with Kidd, had to slow down her entry into the penalty box. Left ball coming around, 4 more points picked up by Race City, putting them at 17. But for matched on the Anarchy side, putting them at 18. 17 to 18, Austin Anarchy on top, 24 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first half.
So that's a 14-point jam for Austin Anarchy. A great way to come out of that because they had picked up first blood, 4 points in the first jam. Nothing. Okay, 14. Seems reasonable to me.
Both teams doing a really good job taking advantage of the power jams that they are being given so far. Each team with 1, each team picking up multiple scoring passes. Got Doc Flatliner jamming for Race City, Sharknado for Austin Anarchy. Sharknado's lead jammer.
Doc Flatliner trying to press his way through, not quite, there we go. Is through on his initial as Sharknado comes along to a very quick pack. Meets up in the back with a blocker who doesn't engage him as much as possible. Gets through 4 points, and he's going to go ahead and call it off.
Smart call off, making sure that Race City is not able to sneak any points. Shaggy going back to the line for the Rebels.
And El Nino for Austin Anarchy.
I feel like we've seen this matchup before.
Yes, and we probably will again.
7 minutes have gone exactly so far in this game. 22 to 17, Austin Anarchy on top.
If you're just tuning in, once again, Race City is in black and Austin Anarchy is in white. El Nino taking a little bit of a spill to the outside. He's found himself in the middle of a Triforce up front, and that's going to give Shaggy the opportunity to get through. He's going to get knocked out, and he's going to have to come back. So it's still possible for Nino to bust through this wall. Ooh.
Nino got stifled by Skateman Spliff. Skateman Spliff pushing him back. But now Shaggy being forced to recycle back behind number 51. That is Naked Alien.
I feel like some of what we're seeing is a little bit of like getting used to this floor. El Nino is going to get through, lead jammer, and Austin Anarchy.
Getting used to the floor, maybe a little bit of travel fatigue. Also just getting used to how the other team plays.
Yes. Well, I've just seen a couple of things. I'm like, the floor appears to be quite slick to me, and that might be different than usual. And then, of course, the weather in the building affects the floor, and so on and so on and so on.
So there was some confusion with regards to whistles. You thought he had called off the jam. Actually headed to the bench, being told by his jam rep, no, the jam is still on. He did step back up, called off the jam, and now it is over. And now we also have a scoreboard and time clock on the feed, updated.
I'm going to take credit for that. Clearly, I've done nothing.
Give all the credit to Sleazer right there. 22 to 24, Austin Anarchy still on top. But that gap is narrowing.
Would actually like to thank our production crew for being so awesome, which I have nothing to do with, I'm afraid. A wicked bombshell out there for Race City.
And Sonic Boom for the Austin Anarchy.
It's going to be Sonic Boom taking a lead jammer status for Austin Anarchy.
Bombshell's also through. Meanwhile, Vicious into the penalty box for an elbowing call.
Two-point jam for Austin Anarchy. Race City right now 22, Austin at 26. Just over 20 minutes left in this half. An exciting matchup right here. Of course, this is the 4th and 5th seed for the tournament, and they also, according to the murder ranks, are 22 and 23. Race City at 22, Austin Anarchy at 23 in the most recent rankings.
So we could expect from the rankings that this will be a close game. We're seeing that play out so far with only 4 points. Been a little bit of a seesaw battle with Race City having the lead for a little bit. Austin taking that lead back. They've got Sharknado jamming now. Sharknado jamming against Doc Flatliner.
It's going to be Doc Flatliner taking a lead jammer status for Race City. Not too terribly far behind is Sharknado. Doc thinking about calling it, thinking not to. He's going to come through and then call it. There we go. A 4-point pass there for Race City, bringing him up 26 to 26.
10 minutes gone. We've got a tie game in this
Whoa!
contest.
We haven't seen a tie like this since Jam 2.
Timeout being taken by the Austin Anarchy. First team timeout of the game. This game's got 26-26. As Sleazer mentioned, haven't seen a tie like this since Jam 2 when it was 4-4.
Oh, I got goosebumps. when I saw
44
that
points
26.
later.
Whew.
It's exciting weekend coming up here, setting up the games to determine the final two spots in the Metro Area Association Championships that will take place in Wales later this year.
Yes, indeed. The teams are coming from all over North America. One Canadian team representing the Montreal Royals will be here.
This is the first game of this North American qualifier. Obviously, the big prize at the end is teams are all looking to stamp their ticket going to Wales for the MRDA championships. So team seeded number 4 and number 5 right now, knotted up 26 all, 19 and a half to go.
We'd like to thank Nerd Skates, one of our sponsors here at Salish Sea Slam. You can check out their gear at nerdskates.com, or if you're in the area or want to drive up, it's all good. We're here for 2 days.
I was picking up something from the house feed about one of the Anarchy skaters being ejected from the game. I didn't catch who it was, but it sounded like it was due to contact with the official. Looks like...
Well, I guess I missed something.
It looks like it might be 818. That is Vicious. Being talked to by Paulie Dangerous. Looks like Vicious, due to contact with the official on the outside, it happened right over in turn number 4.
Okay.
Looks like that's sending Vicious into the locker room.
Back in the action we go. Shaggy, jamming for Racing Rebels, facing off against...
Well, potentially if you're watching this feed later, hello from the past.
Or if you're just listening to it
Yeah,
now,
if
it's like a radio broadcast right
You
now.
want to do a radio call? It's on.
In the far straightaway, we've got Il Nino coming around, picking up lead jammer status. Shaggy pinned back inside the pack right now.
Shaggy having a seat in the box. El Nino is approaching the pack at a standstill. Ray City has prepared to receive him, but his team is ready to break him up. They go ahead and speed up around turn 4. And just as they come past the jammer and pivot lines, the teams are just they're moving, but it's more of a swarm than it is a forward progression.
Nino takes a hit from Grimace at the end of that, calling off the jam. Looks like 5 additional points picked up by the Austin Anarchy, taking the score 31-26. Austin taking the lead with 18 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Austin finishing off this power jam is going to be abbreviated for the start because Shaggy is standing with him. Box under 10 seconds to go. Sonic Boom wearing the star for the Anarchy. Trying to get a little help following the opening created by Speedy Rella, but recycled back.
Sonic Boom pressing his way through. Ray City has a wall up. As soon as he gets knocked out, they come to the back.
Shaggy getting around, does push through, getting past Antrax to pick up lead jammer status.
Shaggy approaches the pack. Sonic Boom still trying to get past that wall, not quite able to do so.
The tandem of Speedy Rella and Kojo Ryzen just slamming Shaggy to the ground just past turn number 2. Sonic Boom stifled in turn number 3. Both jammers having a world of trouble trying to get through this pack on this current pass.
Definitely. Both teams, again, as we said, ranked 22 and 23 in the MRDA, and then seeded 4 and 5 here. It's going to be a close game. And then strategy-wise, you can see that they've already adapted to each other quite well.
Shaggy does complete his initial pass, or scoring pass, correction. That's 5 points in the air. That's going to knock the score back up. It's been 10 points scored overall since the last tie. Shaggy's going to try and break that now, leaning against Fiorella and Antrax.
Man, this is a rough jam. The thing is Shaggy could call it off.
He could, but
he's not going to.
We're just now seeing Sonic Boom complete the initial pass.
He looked so tired, though. That was the thing, is I was like, oh. He has been bumping up against that wall for 1:51 before it's called, and that is just so much energy expended.
Well, it could be part of the Race City strategy as well. They know that Austin now has to deal with being one player short on the bench with what happened with Vicious. So that could be a strategy of run the jams a little bit longer, because that's going to put extra pressure on the Anarchy blockers.
Definitely. All right, Doc Flatliner out once again. Sharknado out for Austin Anarchy. It's going to be Sharknado taking the lead at jammer status. Coming around the track like a vortex of air filled with terrifying sea creatures.
Sharknado trying to erase the current Race City lead, unable to completely do so. Does grab a couple of points. Looks like the refs are conferring to see how many points are being awarded. 2 being held up.
Right.
We make it 36-33, 15 minutes even. We're past the first quarter of this contest.
I feel like the score isn't going to get terribly far off. We say so far we've stayed within maybe 5 points. Maybe it has been the highest spread. I think it's actually more like 4.
There was that 1 9-point lead in jam number 3, but we haven't seen it since then. Both teams being really closely knotted together. Nino back on the track, forced to recycle behind Johnson.
El Nino trying to press through this excellent Race City defenses. At the same time, Austin is up front, keeping Les Brawl back.
Bodies over the far straightaway, and Johnson and Nino are getting tangled up. Nino does pick up lead. A no pass, no penalty situation.
All right. Antrax sitting in the box for Austin. Now Les Brawl is through, having completed his initial. At the same time, El Nino is coming into the pack just now. He's passed at least one Race City Rebel, and he's going to call it off before Race City is capable of scoring.
It looks like Race City is actually questioning that lead being awarded with the no pass, no penalty. What I'm assuming happened in that jam is that El Nino was awarded it just before the contact with Johnson that pushed them out, because they had broken free from the zone of engagement.
Right.
And they were still in a situation where Johnson was not going to pick up an out-of-play penalty.
Right.
But Skidder's being pushed out of bounds. Right, the explanation was given to Race City in a way that was satisfactory to them. So nothing further. We got Wicked Bombshell jamming against Sonic Boom.
Going in this jam 36-36. We got 13-ish minutes left in this half, and it's going to be Wicked Bombshell taking the lead at jammer status for Race City. A lot of whistles going on. What's happening?
Looks like we got an elbowing call being assessed against number 84, Zeckner from Race City. Meanwhile, Totomatic and Bruce Payne in the penalty box for Anarchy.
Bombshell picking up 5 points. Coming up on Sonic Boom. As Bombshell gets into the pack, slides in backwards. She's going to call it off. A 0-0 pass, but a 5-point jam for Race City. Nothing picked up that time by Austin Anarchy. Now 41-36 in favor of Race City.
One thing we're seeing so far already in this game is when the Anarchy sends out Sonic Boom, Sonic's had a lot of trouble getting through the Race City walls.
Yeah.
So something is going to have to change, maybe a different blocking contingent for Sonic Boom to help him get through. But still, everything is so close in this contest that it's not a major problem for them to deal with, but it's something they have to take into account.
Right. The primary focus for both teams now has been to make the walls, and as soon as they knock out the jammer, to come back. So they're not helping their own jammer through because they're concentrating on their defense. And so the jammers are left to get through of their own accord, which is fine, but if we're going to see like a bigger point spread, there's going to have to be a little bit of give on defense offense for one of the teams.
We're in a timeout right now for Race City. They're holding a 41-36 lead with 12:05 in the first half.
Oh, I can run through the Austin Anarchy roster that I didn't get to. 1587, Florida Freeman. 22, Antrax. 221, Bruce Payne III. 23, Sonic Boom. 3, Wombo Combo. 303, El Nino. 35, Sharknado. 42, Pinto. 49, Revelation. 5, Totomatic. 51, Naked Alien. 5150, Speedyrella. 6010, Kojo Ryzen. 77, Snot Pilgrim. 818, who is not currently in the game, Vicious. And 88, Danny B.
Timeout comes to an end. We've got Stabby lined up for Race City, jamming against number 35. That's Sharknado. I find it fitting that Sharknado is here in Vancouver, given that Sharknado movies are also going international.
Is there? I was just like, I've not watched. I'm sorry to admit that now in public. I'm behind on my everything pop culture.
Sharknado does get through, picks up lead. Shaggy was slightly ahead on the openings. Sharknado calling off the jam. Little jammer high five between the two as well.
Yeah. Disinterested in the race, which is fine. I'd like to give a shout out to New Wheeled Order, who's currently watching. Hi guys. Got that 5-second call. 41-36 going in this jam. 11:10 left on the period clock. Of course, we are in the first period. If you are just now tuning in, Race City in black, Austin Anarchy in white. El Nino is jamming for Austin, and Doc Flatliner for Race City.
Seeing that pack spread out a long way. El Nino pushed back, and El Nino fighting through, getting around the inside lane, picking up lead jammer status for the Austin Anarchy. Doc Flatliner also free of his initial pass.
Yeah, this is a much swifter pack than we've seen for the last several jams. A 3-point pass that time for Anarchy, a 1-point pass for Race City. So we had been seeing right at the beginning, the pack seemed much faster, and then they seem to kind of like clump up and become the swarm. They're moving within each other, but not really forward. And so we see the speeding pack once again.
Speedy pack leads to a 3-1 jam. Austin Anarchy now with 39 to Race City's 42. Just over 10 to go in the first half.
What's interesting, I don't know, maybe you can tell me if these two teams...
Starting right on that jammer line like that. Last ball out for Race City.
Sonic Boom found Kid. Kid dropped Sonic Boom to the ground. And then Sonic forced to recycle back.
Race City controlling the back quite well. Got all 4 of the blockers once again back there. One of the Anarchy blockers does attempt to help out, but it's going to, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, it's bridging the pack out as they follow Race City's jammer. They come back in. We are standing on turn 2.
Anarchy have lost Naked Alien. He's in the penalty box right now. 5-point scoring pass picked up by Les Brawl. Sonic Boom does have the jammer star in hand right now.
Yeah, I heard his Race City being like, there's no pivot. Like, he's not going to pass because there's no one to pass to. But I don't know if his team actually heard that.
Kid in the penalty box for Race City, picking up a clockwise block penalty. Might have actually been a situation where that clockwise block was actually a good idea to take because it did force Sonic Boom back, and now Sonic Boom is in the penalty box due to a star pass violation. Got a big 15-point jam in that last jam, bringing the score 57-39, the largest lead of the game so far, in Ray City way on top. It's 57-39, 8:27 to go. I say way on top. It's only 18 points, but as things have been so far, an 18-point lead is way on top the way this game has been. Austin unsurprisingly taking a timeout after that big 15-point jam, and they're going to start out missing their jammer as well, so certainly at that time from the ineligible star pass.
Gotcha. Okay, now it's an official timeout.
If I'm seeing correctly, the official timeout is actually due to them needing to get a new chair for the penalty box. Looks like one of the chairs broke.
One of them got busted. It's the problem with folding chairs in sports.
I've been around enough professional wrestling. I know that folding chairs are a bad idea.
Yeah, it's all good. I have allowed them to take my chair. You're welcome, roller derby.
You are a kind, benevolent soul.
I'm gonna have to stand. I'm gonna power through for you.
I could give you my chair. You could say. We are back underway now that there's enough chairs in the penalty box. There's Doc Flatliner jamming for Ray City. Sonic Boom still serving out time for the penalty picked up in the last jam.
I've just been informed there's more heavy-duty chairs. And he's like, why did they use those for the penalty box? And I didn't have an answer.
That's something we'll have to investigate and hopefully let the folks at home know as the tournament wears on.
Well, I think they were saving the fancier ones for the benches because there's theoretically more sitting on the bench. Theoretically.
I like theories. They're nice. They're friendly. Sonic Boom.
Some of them are provable. Some of them are not.
Sonic Boom dropped to the infield by Johnson. Looks like it's going to send Johnson into the penalty box.
Doc Flatliner available to call it and does so. Picking up 4 points for Ray City. Nothing picked up that time by Anarchy. 61-39. Now here is our large but not really large point spread.
22 points. Also, we did get to witness the first completed star pass of the game as Sonic Boom was able to pass the star off to Antrax, but not before, or the jam was completed before Antrax could actually get any points, activating jammer powers. We've got the two teams set up with 7 minutes to go. It is Shaggy jamming against Sharknado. And Sharknado out first, picking up lead. Shaggy is right behind, though.
Man, this is what I'm talking about. The fast pack. Will the jammers ever meet a blocker? Who can say? Finally, right at the end, yes. Austin picks up 3 more points. Nothing picked up that time by Ray City. 61-42. Sorry, 62-42.
Sharknado grabbing that, passing the one skater on the back, getting the 2 ghost points.
Oh, now it's, yep, yeah, everything's fine. My memory is so bad that I looked at the scoreboard and went back and then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm at a roller derby game. I thought there was a score change for just a second. It would have been a lie. Anyway, Wicked Bombshell out there facing off against El Nino. Nino once again having to press through Ray City. One of his teammates, though, number 51, Naked Alien, helping him out, getting him through. El Nino is through. Lead jammer status goes to Austin. Wicked Bombshell is nearly through the pack, having to face off against number 88. Last is Danny B. She's through, having completed initial.
In the last jam, we saw Ray City dealing with a 2-4 pack disadvantage. Now it's the Austin Anarchy with the 2-4 pack disadvantage.
Austin keeping their blockers up front so none of them can be passed. El Nino doesn't call it off until the very last second. No points picked up by Ray City. Of course, there's 2 of them in the box. As long as they stay up front and aren't passed, those 2 just are looming ghost points.
Just like in those terrible castle levels in Super Mario World, where the ghosts are looming, just don't turn away from them.
Right.
As long as you face them, you're fine.
That's the booze. Dang old King Boo, get out of here.
There's Naked Alien and Todd-O-Matic waiting in the penalty box. Sonic Boom jamming for the Anarchy against Les Brawl. Race City with a 4-2 pack advantage. That 2 is Speedy Rella and Anthrax. And Sonic Boom picking up lead jam status for the Anarchy.
Again, we've got the fast pack going. Les Brawl is through, having completed his initial coming around, but that pack, Sonic Boom, still trying to race up front and get there. Comes in, bounces off one Race City Rebel, calls it off, and picks up 3 points.
We're seeing some of the reason why Sonic Boom does jam and can be effective is Sonic Boom needs that open thing. When the pack is running, the pack is being really speedy, that's actually the time that Sonic Boom is shown to be really effective, to have that agility and that speed. When it's 1-on-1 or 1-on-3.
Right. That's when it becomes a bit troublesome. So yeah. He's good at catching the fast back. The walls for Race City are what have been keeping him back this entire time.
Both Shaggy and Sharknado forced to the cycle.
Sharknado landing some huge hits. He's trying to make his way through, coming up against the whole contingent of Race City Rebels.
Shaggy is fighting through the entire Austin Anarchy as well. Both cameras recycled again. Sharknado tangling with number 52. His car bomb does pick up lead jammer status, but again gets pushed to the outfield and is pulled back.
Todd-O-Matic having another seat in the box.
With both jammers out on the outfield, the pack decides that we're just going to go do a backward skate for a half lap.
Let's just rewind for a second. Lead is still with, well, clearly not switched. Sharknado has it. He's going to go ahead and call it off.
Yeah, Sharknado picked up lead. Shaggy heading into the penalty box now. This is going to help out the Austin Anarchy. They're starting in a power jam. And Sharknado's realizing Shaggy's not getting through the pack lately. I'm not going to get through again with the way that this pack is forming up. Let's reset. Let's try our hand with Nino. It looks like Johnson is calling for an official review. Race City asking to use their official review at 2:29 left in the first half of this contest, 62-49.
So most effective on the Austin side for getting through, I think, has been El Nino. Just being for bust-up ability of walls.
Yeah, Nino has had that physical presence when the walls have been formed. Nino's been able to fight through. Sharknado's had a little bit of trouble sometimes when the walls are too tight. Sharknado's been able to pull them back and forth, going left and right. So find the openings, but it has to just kind of run through. Sonic Boom just needed that run up. It needed to use the speed.
Right. So not positive what the official reviews about. Not positive I'll end up. Well, actually, if they tell the house announcers, I'll be able to tell you. We got moved at the last second, and I don't think the officials know where we are. We're behind the penalty box.
Ironic that the officials would not know that we're behind.
Well, the officials that would talk to us.
That's fair.
The NSOs, I made them mad the moment I walked into the building, so they're not going to be speaking to us anytime soon. No. At the beginning, I told them to send the alt to the tables, and so.
The officials are huddling during this review. Looks like Paulie calling both teams together to give the answer to this official review. Once again, this is a Race City official review. They are hoping that they will get it back for the remaining 2:29.
you are curious about today's schedule and you don't have the Facebook, I don't know where you've been, but you can find the schedule on there. But I can also tell you words. At 11 o'clock Pacific, there will be Denver Ground Control facing off against Dakota Men's Roller Derby Norsemen. And then Game 3 at 1, Montreal Mont Royals and Minnesota Men's Roller Derby, the Twin City Terrors. And then Game 4 will be the Philadelphia Hooligans facing off against whoever wins this matchup, which it's really just hard to tell.
And only 13 points separating the two teams right now. As we're nearing the end of the first half, had a quick official timeout after the official review. Want to make sure everything was squared away. We are back. Power start. El Nino. And Nino again just getting through the pack as he's been able to do pretty effectively throughout this game as lead for Austin Anarchy in this power jam.
Shaggy is still seated. Of course, he went into the box as the jam came to a close, so going to spend the whole 30 at the front of this jam. El Nino coming through, a 5-point pass there. Theoretically, he can close up quite a bit of the score right now.
Shaggy being returned to the field of play. Able to re-engage with the pack right away. It was convenient for Shaggy that the pack was pretty much stuck right at the jammer line.
He brought you a pack.
El Nino is going to fight around. That's going to be another 4-point scoring pass in that one. So 9 points so far for El Nino. Chipping away at that lead. It's only 4 points now between the two teams. And Shaggy has not been able to figure out how to get around the awesome wall. El Nino, 5 more points. That is a lead change right now, 63 to 62. Shaggy has passed the star off to number 7, Quad Almighty. Quad activates jammer powers, but Nino coming around again.
Oh my gosh.
One more time.
All right, a little bit of a late call. I think it may have been called earlier and he didn't hear it. Sound Guardian calling off Quad Almighty to the box for a track cut after having received the star.
That's going to turn this back into a power jam for El Nino. Nino knocked to the infield, rolling, calls off the jam.
Now we do have that lead change.
And far and away, that is the biggest single jam of the game. 24 points picked up by El Nino.
Again, both teams very capable of taking advantage of these power jams, but you've got to have a power jam to take advantage of it. If you keep giving them, then you're the one being taken advantage of. So now we have not only a lead change, but like a significant lead change in the opposite direction. We had a 13-point lead for Ray City. Now we have a 9-point lead for Austin Anarchy. So it's kind of, we're still neck and neck.
It is still close. It's within striking distance for either team. But Ray City right now, again, their jammer sitting in the penalty box. So the Austin Anarchy going to send out Sharknado into a power start. And again, we'll have the bulk of the 30 seconds from the start of this jam.
I am so curious to see how the second half is going to turn out, because we all know there's always a change at the half. What change will there be?
Which team will adjust? Which team will put the hammer down on their opponent? Again, we have to think about the Austin Anarchy. They are missing a skater that they were relying on pretty heavily until that moment, too. Vicious was out there pretty regularly. That contact with the official did send him off the tracks really early in the game. And Austin's been able to absorb that so far. But they've got another 30 minutes and 30 seconds to go without Vicious surfaces.
It's true. Not to rest the world on Vicious's shoulders, but
well, it's just something when teams, you only have so many skaters you can roster anyways.
Right. Well, no.
And then when you lose one,
a decisive player like that going out very early as well. So we are on an official timeout, and it looks like the refs are getting back in position, so it should be a short time before we get back underway.
Fantastic first half. I hope you enjoyed what you've been seeing so far.
It looks like we are out of the official timeout, so next whistle will release the skaters. Sharknado wearing the star for the Anarchy, ready to go.
You can see Ray City already ready with the Triforce. They've got the one hanging out on the outside, ready to knock him out and bring him back. Let's see if it's going to happen. Sharknado doing some spin moves here, trying to pirouette off of people's bodies. So far, so good. He's actually pressing them forward quite a bit of his own strength.
The initial pirouette put him right in the middle of all four, but now with enough spinning and enough fighting, Sharknado through, lead jammer going to the Anarchy.
He pushed them far enough. They didn't bridge out well enough. They got that out of play warning and they left him. Lead jammer to Austin Anarchy.
Quad Almighty has returned to the field of play. And it looks like another power jam being handed to the Austin Anarchy.
I guess that was something question mark happened. Oh, I'm not positive.
Looks like there was something to do with the star pass. Quad Almighty was attempting to pass the star to Johnson.
Well, if he attempted and it failed, what? Oh no! Did he attempt and it happened? Things have occurred.
We do know as the jam did come to an end,
Yes.
4 additional points to the Austin Anarchy. Right now the score is 77-62. We are at halftime.
Yeah, well,
The
that
teams
doesn't
have
mean.
not yet gone anywhere.
Just-
so we're,
Just so you know, they can still call for official
Right.
review right now.
we're technically at halftime, but we're not officially at halftime, so we're going to get everything sorted out.
Okay, well, yeah, it looks like we are at halftime. The ref came over and was like, we're at half. So that will take us into intermission, 62-77, in favor of Austin Anarchy, who will be back in about 9 minutes.
At this point, Anarchy will be slightly going into the soon-to-be announced halftime period.
Yes, absolutely. Looks like Denver got control. Eager to hit the track for a warm-up. Both teams on the track. So we're grabbing the water balls, expecting the call of the half. Yes, we are into half. Just for 10 minutes to go until the second half of this game, folks. So don't go too far. Stick around. Lots more action coming up in the second half of this game and the rest of the day here at the Salish Seaside. Remember to drink the washer and come on back.
cool.
That's it.
Yep. From the little bits I saw of what you were doing, feel free to just ride this a little bit more.
Well, I didn't know if I was like, is it moving too fast though?
No.
So I can move it faster? Because I was like, oh, it would be good, but then I
kind of follow them. Like if they go into the corner, you can do this, and then you can come around when they're around there.
So that's not too fast then?
That's not too.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I would say the best looking stream. You've got kind of the whole pack in about this area here, and a little bit of space either side.
Okay.
So if there's dead space next to the pack, just zoom in and pop
I'll
up
do
the
it
dead space.
closer then. Okay. Lashes is giving me feedback too, but there's a delay, so
Yeah.
she'll see.
This is like 12 seconds behind.
Yeah.
How are you doing? You
Yeah,
all right up
I'm
here?
okay. Yeah. Is it getting a bit calmer? What are you guys doing over there?
Right now, the way that the scoreboard computer is talking to our computer, putting all of the score information on the live stream, is going through Grease Monkey's phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. So they're trying to get an actual router set up to do that, so that it doesn't have to go through Grease Monkey's phone. We just got everything working, and now we're trying to improve the way that it's
Yeah.
All right, we are just about back underway with the second half of action between these two teams. Austin Anarchy 77, Race City 62. This 15-point lead, the largest that Austin has had. Race City did have a slightly larger one. A couple of power jams for the Austin Anarchy, really chipping away at that and then putting them back on top. So again, the second half, teams have switched their sides, switched their benches. We're going to see what happens. Austin does have to deal with, as we mentioned earlier, losing Vicious early on in the contest. I'm being shown an amazing button that my co-announcer Julius Leeser has. For those that are just tuning in, Austin in white, Race City in black. I'm Wilhelm Scream.
Still Julius Leeser. That's been going on for me for a while. All right, Doc Flatliner facing off against Flatliner.
We've got Sharknado and Doc Flatliner. So those are the jammers in this particular go-around. Doc Flatliner getting out first, and Race City securing lead for the first jam of the second half of this contest. Looking to eke away, take those points down. They've got a 15-point deficit they're staring at. Sharknado also out of the pack. Doc Flatliner calls off the jam, holding out 3 points for himself. His jam ref disagrees and says 2 points. A little bit of a discussion between Doc Flatliner and his jam ref. Jam ref's call of 2-point stands. Doc Flatliner has denied his third point. Makes the score 64-77 with 29 minutes to go in the contest.
Big hit. It's going to turn into a power jam, a track cut being called on Les Brawl. Took a bit of a spill and then stood up on the track. At least that is what I imagine was the cut, because I can't see what else it would have been.
Les thought that he had gotten back on cleanly, but was incorrect in that. That is a power jam. Another power jam for the Austin Anarchy.
So you can kind of get it.
And then he does have lead, so he has control.
And the Anarchy picking up the lion's share of power jams at the end of the first half. And Nino just barreling through, almost untouched for 5 points. Thinks about calling out the jam, looks at his bench, and then decides that he will indeed call out the jam. Les Brawl standing and has, if I saw the signal between the penalty box timer and Les Brawl correctly, 2 seconds remaining.
People like to be able to see faces in between.
An abbreviated 2-second power start
Yeah, feel free to
for
keep
Antrax.
As a Texas player, it's a big right point myself.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that trust is critical. You're playing it.
With that 5-second call, we are back underway in just a second. So yeah, Les Brawl almost immediately released. And Trax is out there for Austin Anarchy, making his way up front. It's ever so slightly knocked out of bounds, going to have to come back behind.
Les Brawl getting a little help from Skateman Spiff to stay on the track. Spiff was just in the right position to help his jammer avoid those skates touching the outside and the outfield. Also gives Les Brawl lead jammer status. Brawl with a little pirouette after taking the hit from Danny B. It's a 5-point scoring pass.
Antrax coming to the pack backwards, taking around the entire apex before going front ways again. Les Brawl's going to call it off. Another 2 points, so a 7-point jam that time for Race City. Right now, the point differential once again at 9, 71-82.
Celebration for the pass, or just happening in that right position to do so. We'll take it either way.
71-82, musical chairs in the penalty box, and this time it's actually the chairs being relocated.
82-71 as they get this next chance to go.
71-82, 26 minutes, 10 seconds left, and Shaggy thought he was clean and free, but a back block penalty. That's going to send him in the penalty box. Another Austin Anarchy power jam. This one's going to Sharknado.
Call for the jammer.
Sharknado coming, sliding through on this very thin strip of inside that was open. 5 more points for Austin Anarchy. Shaggy just now standing in the box. Pack stopped between 2 and 3. They're starting to speed up, but just so they can get down to 3 and then hang out again.
They're going to push a little bit going towards Sharknado. Push to the outfield. Shaggy does return to the field. The play gets through the pack relatively easily. That's completing his initial pass. Sharknado from the outfield, leisurely calling off the jam.
I feel like in the second half there's been a lot less pointed defense. Like the jammers are having a better time getting through.
Yeah, the walls aren't quite forming as quickly as they did in the first half. So it's now 71-90 with Austin Anarchy on top. 24 minutes, 50 seconds left in the game. Doc Flatliner jamming against Ilino.
It's automatic headed back to the box. And a forearm's being called on El Nino. Lead was open, lead now closed. Doc Flatliner's got it. Race City now on a power jam.
This is the power jam that Race City desperately needed. They've been giving up a lot.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 minutes or so of gameplay, going back actually about 10 minutes if you include the first half. And Flatliner just juking his way around. Naked Alien juked out of his skates as Flatliner picks up a 5-point scoring pass.
Naked Alien now having a seat, forgetting which side of the box is now his.
Looks like Naked Alien, I didn't see what the initial penalty was, but I am seeing that there is also an insubordination penalty being tacked on. So a full minute in the penalty box for Naked Alien.
Flatliner having a rough time getting through. Does so, though. Nothing picked up by Austin Anarchy. A 15-point jam for Race City. Now bringing them up within 4 points of Anarchy's score.
That was huge for Race City. And again, power jams, watching out for those jammer penalties. Austin gives up 1, and they watch their lead just evaporate down to only 4. Luka Bombshell's going to be jamming for the Rebels, jamming against Antrax for the Anarchy. The Wicked Bombshell very quickly on the inside, but that includes a track cut. So power jam. Racing just enjoyed one. Now they're going to have to defend against one and kill off that penalty time.
Got that front wall held by finally having to release. It was originally held by Grimace. Last person being passed was number 7, though, Quad Almighty. Coming back through, Antrax on a scoring pass. Wicked Bombshell is sitting in the box, or sorry, standing in the box.
The Austin Anarchy, they're doing a great job defensively, forcing the Race City Rebels to spread out their packs, getting down to only 1 or 2 blockers. That's making it much easier for the Jammers to get through. Antrax does complete the scoring pass for 5 more points. A little bit of breathing room for the team from Austin.
Just barely making it. Bombshell was through. Not capable of making it to the back of the pack. A 7-point jam for Austin Anarchy, bring them up to 97, Race City at 86.
And looks like we are taking an official timeout. Scores 97-86, 21:47 on the clock. Race City with 3 potential clock stoppages. They've got 2 timeouts and their official review for the second half. Austin Anarchy with 1 timeout and their second half official review.
I'd like to give a shout out to Jerk. I'm just going to leave it there. It's Lumberjerk from, you may have heard of this team, St. Louis Gatekeepers.
May have heard of them.
They are a little team in a suburb of the world called St. Louis. And, you know, they've been coming up quite well in the last season or so. So I'm interested to see how they do.
They're new at this game.
Yeah.
They've never played it
We've
before.
got these other teams. Puget Sound is on their 10th year. What's St. Louis on? I don't know.
2.
And that's when Jerk never talked to me again because he found out I was a jerk.
Sharknado jamming against Shaggy.
Both of these jammers getting bounced back. It's going to be Shaggy through first, lead jammer status achieved.
Shaggy with a little bit of an apex jump too, just hopping over that side. Oh, and Shaggy just at the front of the pack, almost taken up by Naked Alien, bouncing back up. That's a 5-point scoring pass. Race City again. They're taking away the Anarchy lead. Naked Alien taking the star.
That star had been passed to Naked Alien. Again, track awareness, not quite able to make it to the back of the pack. A 5-point jam for Race City. 9-point jam. Of course, you know when I say it, they're like, haha, now we'll update the score. 95-97, so we're back in that very close range. I imagine the rest of this game is going to be lead change, lead change, lead change, lead change. Tears.
Especially if we keep seeing jammers heading to the penalty box.
Ooh, what would it be if they tied and we went into an overtime jam? It would be my dreams coming true.
It would be my first ever overtime jam.
I haven't announced one in like 3 years now. Joplin had one.
I talk about a jammer going to the penalty box, and right now Les Brawl going to serve some time. Austin Anarchy back on the power jam, and that is Il Nino.
The announcer curse is dual parted. Not only if we say your name will you go to the box, but we can't not say your name. So, sorry for existing.
An out of play penalty is going to send up Chuck Norris into the penalty box. Todd-O-Matic joining from Austin Anarchy.
So we're going to stop. Les has 3 seconds left, just so you know.
Nino calling off the jam with those 3 seconds remaining. A short power jam remaining for Antrax. And seeing 0 points being picked up by the Anarchy, so a great job penalty killing by Race City. Especially dealing with Il Nino, who's been so effective for so much of this game.
Get that. Yep. Almost immediately. Les Brawl released back onto the track, eligible for lead, of course, does not get it because Antrax was very interested in it.
Antrax picking up
again to Austin Anarchy.
And Les Brawl potentially with a little bit too much speed going into that first corner between 1 and 2. Actually pushed himself to the outfield, allowed the pack to get back into place ahead of him. A quick call off by the Austin Anarchy. 4 more points picked up by Austin. That puts them over the century mark. 101-95. 18.5 to go.
Race City trailing by 6 at 95.
Sharknado facing off against Doc Flatliner. Doc pressing his full weight against these 3 Austin Anarchy blockers. Woo! And then popping on through, busting up the last defense of the team. Lead jammer status is achieved. And now a power jam for a track cut, courtesy of Sharknado.
Austin losing both Sharknado and Kojo Horizon. So they, not only do they have the only jammer on the track, they also have a 4-3 pack advantage. And Race City holding Speederella back, separating her from the rest of her blockers. Quick 5-point scoring pass, making it a 10-point jam so far. Doc Flatliner has put Race City back on top. First time they've been there in a while. He's going to add more. 3rd Grand Slam of the jam, 15 points so far. Sharknado still looking to complete the initial pass.
Doc Flatliner having an edge around skaters to stay in bounds. Doing so quite swiftly, though. Sharknado has come through on his initial approach to the back of the pack. Doc Flatliner has been informed by his team, calls it off before Sharknado can meet it. A 20-point jam, though, by Doc Flatliner, bringing it up 115 to 101. So there's your lead change, but a pretty substantial one this time.
Now 14-point lead for Race City. We are in an official timeout.
Race City up ahead of Austin Anarchy.
Looks like head ref Paulie Dangerous speaking with both of the bench coaches, passing along his bearded words of wisdom. Once we're clear of this official timeout, we do have Shaggy lined up against El Nino. And both benches actually going to speak to their individual coaches. So wherever Paulie passed along to them, the coach is now passing along to their teams. We've got 16 minutes, 46 seconds left. 115, 101. Race City in black, Austin in white.
All right, the Anarchy is headed back to their bench, and it looks like we are set up for another jam. We'd stopped on 1646, 115 to 101 in favor of Race City right now.
As we were waiting for the jam to start, you might have seen Shaggy giving a little bit of a back rub to El Nino.
Still friends, everything's fine. El Nino.
Very quickly picking up lead jammers.
Right.
See, you get a massage,
Back
you
rub
feel
power,
better.
yeah.
The Anarchy closing the gap now, 10 points separating the two teams. So we've got Antrax jamming against Wicked Bombshell.
Slow start here to this current jam.
Wicked Bombshell. Woo! Still here. Be here the whole weekend. Wicked Bombshell out for Race City. Having a hard time getting past just the back line. So we've got all 4 of Austin Anarchy's blockers again concentrated. This is what we're seeing a lot of in the first half. All four concentrated on the jammer, They're going to leave them to get out on their own. And
now we're seeing the same thing on the Austin side now, where Antrax not having any luck getting around dealing with the Race City wall. Again, all 4 converging. Naked Alien standing as the bridge to make sure that neither team gets out of play.
it looks like it's gonna, yeah. It's gonna have to happen though. There's gonna have to be some give. Antrax getting through Austin Anarchy with lead jammer. Shell passed off the star, and it's going to go to number 7. God almighty.
It was a good job by Grimace as well, holding back. Holding back Antrax. Antrax only picking up 2 points in that pass. So 115 to 107. Sonic Boom taking the jam line for Austin, jamming against Doc Flatliner.
Off once again. Sonic Boom out there for Austin, finding that opening and just taking it.
Naked Alien basically pulled the entire pack off the outside line, giving Sonic Boom the opportunity. And we're seeing Sonic Boom's speed and agility coming into play. No pass, no points. Knocked to the ground. Big hit from Johnson. Sonic Boom does pick up 2. Austin chipping away.
Yep. And it's going to be a power jam for Austin. Doc Flatliner having a seat in the box.
Looks like it was a 3-1 jam, not a 2-0 jam. End result being that the lead is still down to 6.
Yeah. So.
And Doc Flatliner in the penalty box, sent at the end of the jam. That's going to put El Nino on a power jam. Going to be eliminated because a forearm penalty.
Sideline commentators are getting a little too technical for my tastes. He's not wrong, but Grimace having a seat in the box. And now Austin's jammer standing in the box.
Nino returned to the field of play as Doc Flatliner coming around on a scoring pass, takes to the sky.
So many things happened at once, but the result was 4 points to Ray City. El Nino coming up in the back of the pack, not quite in time, I think, to pick anything up. 1 more point picked up by Ray City, 121 to 110 in favor of Ray City.
There's about 12 minutes, 15 seconds left in this contest. Grimace standing, under 10 seconds remaining in his penalty. So Ray City will be back with a full complement of blockers shortly. An official timeout being taken. And keep in mind, this is the first game of the Salish T-Slam. Game number 2 coming up after this is going to be Denver Ground Control taking on Dakota Men's Roller Derby. That game is at 11 o'clock Pacific time. And then game 3, the Montreal Mount Royals taking on Minnesota Men's Roller Derby. That is at 1 o'clock Pacific time. Adjust for your time zones as needed.
There's math involved. You can Google. I have done it before. I'd like to give another shout out to Statman, who is also tuned in from the UK. Watching the game on his TV box, as he's put it.
On his TV box?
I feel like he's picked up some slang that I don't think is real. Just making up stuff, and he's like, oh no, it's a British term. It's fine. He's from DC, so.
Just informed that a penalty was assessed to the captain. I believe that was from Austin Anarchy. So El Nino into the penalty box. There was an expelled skater that was near trackside, near the team's benches. That does cause a penalty to be assessed against the captain of the team.
So while we will take that one, I just want to share a couple other stats with you. So the MC mentioned.
So score is 121 to 110. Race City on top. The expelled skater leading to a penalty against his own captain.
It appears that I Don't Care Bear from New York, Shock Exchange, you may have heard of them as well, is watching from something called a YouTube. If you're going to just make up words and send them to me, I mean, that's fine.
Is that a Britishism as well?
No.
Oh.
No. That guy. He's from the New Yorks. So. There's several of them.
Somewhere right now, I feel like Holly is just shaking her head and weeping, and she's not even watching.
Holly has silently unfriended me on Facebook, and I'm fine with it because I deserve it. So.
Back to the action here. We got Shaggy jamming against Sharknado. Shaggy thought he found an opening, but pushed to the outfield. Sharknado trying to find an opening on the inside. Johnson closing the door. For those of you watching, those have been some subtle shout-outs to some of the announcers that were the Toulouse qualifier.
Yeah, well, Statman was actually the head of Toulouse. So good job on running the first ever MRDA playoffs in beautiful France, which I was envious of. Not that Vancouver is certainly something to write home about. I've actually texted my mom since I've been here, and I was like, I'm in Vancouver and you're not. So.
Naked Alien now wearing the star for the Austin Anarchy. Shaggy's still trying to fight through. Up at the front.
Okay.
Automatic
coming after him.
So the 4-point scoring pass. No pass, no penalty. Naked Alien completing that scoring pass. 4 points picked up as well. No lead jammer, so a full 2-minute jam underway.
All right, that is another 4-point pass for Race City. Shaggy racking them up right now, 8-4. Naked Alien. Once again, we see that staunch defense brought to you by Race City. The jammer having to lean full weight against these people, ever so slightly moving them along. In the meantime, Shaggy pops through, and that's a 5-point pass that time.
Yeah, an interesting tactic by Naked Alien. He was pushed to the outfield, and he actually just waited as Car Bomb was pulling back, trying to make sure that Sharknado was forced to retreat. Naked Alien just waited until Car Bomb was out of play so he could step in back in front.
It's worked out.
At least to Race City with a 134 to 118 lead, 16 points. 9 minutes, 30 seconds left. The winner of this game will move on to play the Philadelphia Hooligans. That game is at 3 o'clock Pacific.
However, we did have season second half a few more games as the intention is to
All right, here we go. Antrax trying to push through all 4 of Race City's blockers. Again, concentrated up front. All 4 of Texas blockers in the back. Sorry, Austin's blockers in the back. It's going to be Antrax pushing through first, but not terribly far behind Les Brawl.
We were seeing Antrax dealing with that swarming Race City defense as they've got their triangle defense set up. Meanwhile, Austin Anarchy was holding back Les Brawl for a while with pretty much a flat wall. So different tactics in the defensive postures in that last jam. Does lead to 1 point picked up by the Austin Anarchy.
All right. It's like instead of sitting on the jammer, I lied. Okay. It's like they had been primarily starting at the jammer line, like very tightly on it. Looked like they were going to do the pivot line start. Nope. They've got their braces prepared.
Change of tactics on the fly. Doc Flatliner jamming against Sonic Boom.
Kid hanging off to the side in case anybody needs to be taken aback. Doc Flatliner knocked to the outside. Danny B is going to recycle him.
Sonic Boom found Kid, then forced to recycle behind Car Bomb. Race it again around. That's Doc Flatliner picking up lead. Sonic Boom will turn on the Jets, trying to catch up to Doc Flatliner. Call off, no points awarded to Race City.
Yeah.
Oh, correction, 1 point picked up by Race City.
One.
None for Austin Anarchy. Puts it back up to a 16-point lead, but more importantly for Race City, taking time off the clock. We got 7 minutes to go, 7 minutes, 10 seconds with 135 to 119, your current score.
We are at Les Brawl facing off against Il Nino. Kojo really blasting through, trying to make that opening, but it didn't quite work out in favor of his own team. Les Brawl is through. Lee Jammer Steps goes to Race City.
Les Brawl's skates had eyes. He was dancing on the outside line, and somehow the toe stops just kept falling on the correct side of the tape.
It's the risky run when you dance on your toe stops, is going just like stepping ever so slightly out of bounds.
Les Brawl picking up 5 points. That's going to extend the Race City lead. You know, now getting through, getting a little tangle up with Chuck Norris, but no harm, no foul. Les Brawl dropped by Automatic.
Yeah. True assessment. Good call, Wilhelm.
Does lead to 4 more points for Race City.
No, I wasn't being sarcastic that time.
I like that we have to quantify it. Like,
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
sarcastic.
Well, I feel like you know me well enough that you know that maybe one sentence a day isn't sarcastic. It's a 9-point jam there for Race City. Austin Anarchy not picking up any that time. 144 to 119. Still attainable.
It is still within reach. Austin Anarchy does still have the two clock stoppages as well. They've got their timeout. They've got their official review. 25 points can be erased, but the thing that really helped them at the start of this game that brought them back, or start of this half that brought them back in, was those penalties, those jammer penalties being picked up by Race City. Race City jammers have really cleaned up their game as the second half was worn on.
Definitely.
I'm sure we'll see a change in behaviors as we go, year after year. But it's nice to be able to go.
Did they break another chair?
The teams that are playing here are not
Not
actually
sure.
from here.
Oh, it looks like there's been some spillage on the track. I've been surprised. The venue is very cool right now. I feel like by the end of the day it's not going to be so much, because I remember like this floor can get kind of sweaty on its own.
So it'll be something to keep
The
our
floor's
eyes
alive.
on. It'll be something that'll affect games as they go on later on. Which, again, the winner of this game is coming back at 3 o'clock today.
Yes.
So we'll see if that's going to affect their strategy going into that second game. Also, they're taking on the top seed in the tournament, Philadelphia
Yes.
Hooligans. We still don't know who's taking on Philadelphia.
Right.
We just know
not
that
gonna try to make a
someone is.
prediction. Yeah. Someone here will be competing.
One of these two teams.
Someone
will be
else,
back
not
at
naming
3.
names, but the Hooligans.
Loser of this game will be back tomorrow morning, bright and early.
9 a.m.
Absolutely. So I was looking at the numbers yesterday too, and I'm showing that the teams that are already established for Wales are teams.
All right, we are back to the action here now. Sharknado up against Shaggy.
And Shaggy is being assessed a track cut penalty. I saw that skate touch down. I thought there was a chance, but does lead to the Race City jammer being sent to the penalty box. Sharknado on a power jam. And that's lead jammer going to Austin Anarchy. Austin needing to pick up some points.
Right as the jam ends is when Shaggy comes out of the box.
Great penalty kill by Race City.
Oh, yeah, no.
Holding Sharknado only 3 points and completely erasing the penalty time. So we're going to start out with both jammers back on the field. We got Sonic Boom jamming against number 70, Doc Flatliner. Score is 144 to 122, under 5 minutes to go.
Woo! Do you have a noise to contribute?
I'm just clenching right now. So much clenching.
Yeah. Oh, there's.
Speaking of clenching, that defense is just clenching down on both jammers. Sonic Boom finds an opening on the infield. Just pulled everybody towards the outfield. Had just the right angle. Lead jammer going once again to Austin Anarchy, and Sonic Boom head of steam coming around.
Denny B having a seat in the box, which means Anarchy is down by 1 blocker. Doc Flatliner taking a spill on the outside, stands up, thinking it's going to be all right. And just like when I think everything's going to be all right, I'm usually wrong. So
Sonic Boom around for 5. Austin Anarchy, a little bit of life being breathed into their game. It's been hard fought, been tight all game long. Anytime there's been a slight opening in the score, the other team has been able to chip away at it. Sonic Boom calling off the jam from his knees. 3 more points, making it an 8-point jam. Scores 144 to 130. We've got 3.5 minutes to go. Race City still on top. Doc Flatliner finishing off his penalty time, but is standing, so under 10 seconds to go.
It's been anything like the other standings right before the start. He's going to pop right back into play almost immediately.
Not a lot of time for El Nino, but El Nino might just take those couple seconds. Might be all he needs to get lead for Austin Anarchy.
So far, not advantageous. He is up front. Oh yeah, a little help from a friend. And last pass goes by Kid. And oh, but I was like, where's the whistle? He has gone to the box.
Nino,
Never mind.
his I believe his right foot stepped just on the infield.
Those track cuts, I'm telling you.
And a good awareness by Race City that they lured that track cut into happening. Just had the blockers swarming in the right position to be able to have that happen. But now we're seeing penalty killing. Finally, Doc Flatliner getting through, but El Nino already standing.
Doc does have control, so can make a decision there. Because if he got that track cut before he completed his initial, this is a new initial, yeah?
That is indeed.
So Doc's got a little bit of time because he is on his first scoring pass.
And a multiplayer block penalty being assessed against number 79, Skateman Spiff. Another multiplayer that's sending 2 Race City skaters into the penalty box. Skateman Spiff and Kid, both, and Doc Flatliner calling off the jam, eating more seconds off the clock.
5 points to Race City, 1.
Something being behind both of these benches, I found it really interesting. Like, they both have really positive energy. And I'm like, that's awesome. Every time somebody gets a little bit heated, somebody goes like, hey, everything's okay. And I'm like, wow. Right on.
Timeout being taken by Race City. They've got the lead right now, 149 to 131. A minute and a half, just under a minute and a half to go. Again,
no pressure, but it'd be cool to tie it up.
Again, Austin's sitting with those 2 clock stoppages.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it wasn't Austin that took the time out in that situation. And Race City did let almost the full 30-second reset time go by before calling the timeout.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, like a minute ago, the best strategy for Race City at this point would be to kill time. Just kill time, kill time, kill time. Do a fast jam, get lead, get the 30 seconds. Get lead, get the 30 seconds, get lead, get the 30 seconds, and then just while away. You only have to do it a couple of times, we're done.
Or if they have a jammer that still has good legs, and they know that they can probably get through. If they've got a jammer that can go a minute and a half, get through, get lead.
Yeah, run it down.
And just run the clock down all the way. They're going to send out Shaggy to the jam line. Shaggy's going to be going up against Sharknado. Shaggy could be that jammer that Race City wants to just milk away that remaining minute and a half.
Sharknado full of fury. Lead has been awarded to Shaggy, though. Shaggy is knocked out to the outside. It's going to be recycled back. Sharknado is through. Going to be coming on his first scoring pass. Shaggy's going to have to make a decision what we're going to do. It'll probably be based on what his team can find actionable against Sharknado at this point. Sharknado is through. Completed his first scoring pass. It's a 5-point pass.
It is a 5-point pass. That's big for Sharknado. Audience members pleading with Shaggy to call it off, but his bench saying no. We want this clock to run. So Sharknado does get forced to the infield, tried a little bit of the apex jump, pushed inside. All Shaggy needs to do is let the clock run and make sure that Sharknado can't pick up enough points. But it might be starting to get a little bit dicey because that's another 5-point scoring pass by Sharknado.
So right now what I predict is Shaggy's got some points. He's got some points. He's probably got 4. Sharknado comes through. They're really running a risk here unless they intend to call it right when the period clock ends.
Sharknado is sitting on more points, completing another scoring pass. Shaggy is looking at the clock, calls it right when the period clock hits 0. Sharknado does pick up an additional 5 points, but it is not enough. 149 to 146. Looks like that's going to be the final score. Race City.
Do you have 30 seconds for any score contesting? And of course, they're going to have to make it final with the jam refs. It is especially so tight that I think we'll be here for just a second. Oh, no, the score is finalized.
It is final, 149 to 146. Looking like the strategy we talked about, Shaggy running down the clock, did pay off. Austin Anarchy was just a little bit too far behind Sharknado. Put up 15 points in that jam, but it wasn't quite enough. He needed 18 to tie it. So again,
commendable effort on both sides. This was a great game to start off the tournament with. Hope you enjoyed it. That means Philadelphia Hooligans will take on Race City at 3 p.m. today. And next up, Denver Ground Control facing off against Dakota Men's Roller Derby Norsemen.
Yeah, Austin Anarchy will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. They will be waiting to find out who their opponent is. Don't be mistaken, it's not over for Austin Anarchy. They still have a path to qualification.
Certainly.
So it is still well within their grasp, especially when they've played in this game. So we'll see what happens. They'll come back tomorrow, they'll come back fresh. It's going to be an interesting setup going into tomorrow.
All right, so I have been Julia Sleazer.
I've been Wilhelm Screen.
Thank you for joining us.